Hey guys, Fishmonger here. The other day I made a video about one of my GPU mining rigs that I made. Basically, the construction of how I built it, the materials involved, the all the fun I had making it. And today I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up video on that, basically showing the cards that are on the inside, some of the system specs, and then basically the quote-unquote amount of money I'm making, if you want to call it that. If you didn't see that video before, you should check it out. It's probably one of the other ones in my previous list. And the picture of that rig is actually up on the screen right now. It was a nice rig. It was fun making it. It's basically, currently on the inside is a couple of different GTX 56, I'm sorry, GTX 1050s and one 1060 and ATX motherboard, power supply, all that good stuff or whatever. Um, it's it's good. It's all right. In hindsight, what I really probably should have done is instead of trying to make a rig with as many video cards in it as I could, given my budget, is basically made a rig with the most powerful video card I could buy, given the amount of money I wanted to allot to video cards. That way, it gives me the ability to expand a lot easier because I would have spots open. Like, for instance, just throwing rough numbers out there, if I built a rig, and I did, but if I built a rig with five GTX 1050s, they were 120, 130, 140 bucks a pop. Now it's like you get them anywhere like 175 or whatever. But you'd be looking, close to 400 and something dollars for all five cards. Well, with this 400 to $500 budget, I could have probably just got like a 1070 if I shopped around and waited for a good deal. And that was kind of part of the problem. Is at the time I built these rigs, availability was horrible. Is not even the right word. Availability was just bad. You could not get a video card anywhere. So I made do with what I did, and I kind of wanted to rush into it. I wanted to get into the market quick to start getting some money back quick. And now I'm facing the issue of, that's great. I got all these cheap video cards that, they earn me money or whatever, and that's nice. But, down the road, 6 months, 8 months down the road, if I just waited and got a 1070, I could sell that a heck of a lot easier than I can all my other video cards that I got. And I think that's one of the things you got to keep in mind is when you're doing a rig, budget rig especially, you're probably better off making a budget rig with, have a fixed budget for your video cards and spend the most that you can. That's wise amount to spend per video card, and get the most powerful thing you can instead of a whole bunch of little dinky ones. Get like one big powerful one. So up on this screen now is one of my mining rigs, and I'm going to be looking over here because I've got three monitors, so watch my eyes, or don't watch my eyes. Here, I'll tell you what. Hey, now you don't have to worry about my eyes. So I'm going to stare at you and look over here. This is a rig I made with, this is 5 video cards here. This is 3 GTX 1050s. I'm sorry, 4 GTX. I'm holding up 4 GTX 1050s and 1 GTX 1060. Basically, they're currently hashing at about 985 solutions per second, and that is using, what am I doing here? This is, I think I'm on Nanopool, so this is Equihash on Nanopool. And you can see on average here, it's pretty decent. About 180 to 170 per GTX 1050. And it's a little bit of a quirky thing going on. See this one here that's hitting 143 right now in GPU number 1? That actually will hit 170 or 180 if I'm not remote desktoping in to see that card. It's a little interesting thing I learned. This rig doesn't have any integrated video or graphics into the motherboard, or it doesn't have an APU or anything like that. It's actually, the processor is a Athlon 2X2 215 that's in here with 4 gig of RAM, so it's not that much of a computer. In fact, you can see some of the stuff down here. But when I'm remoted into it, it will take away from the hashing power. So what I try to do a lot with this is basically just close the screen like that, And then when I do that, it actually brings itself up to full power. So I'm never trying to like live monitor it. In fact, people should make note of that. If you make a rig and you always have a monitor plugged into it or whatever, or you're viewing it, keep an eye on your cards because they can easily lose hashing power if you're actually actively staring at them. All right, you're now looking at mining rig number 2. And this rig is a little bit different. Right now, there's only 4, holding up the right amount, 4 GTX 1050s in there. There's going to be a 5th. I just got a replacement board in. Actually, I got 5 replacement boards in. Actually, funny story. I just signed up for Amazon Prime. I got the one-day delivery thing. And for whatever reason, certain guys, especially Amazon, like I live in an apartment, but you know, my door goes right into the apartment. It's not like you go in and there's a hallway in other apartments. Everybody likes just walking in my front door to like give me my packages. It's like you lived in a house, would you expect a delivery guy to just like come in and like meet you in your kitchen and be like, here's your package? It doesn't work that way. This guy here has a A4 5300 APU on an MSI, sorry, it's a gigabyte motherboard, 4 gigs of RAM, and very interesting situation with this because I don't know if you can see here, the hashing rates I've got on these cards are all pretty consistent. 170, 165. These are all GTX 1050s. And I'm actually on Mining Pool Hub right now doing Equihash. So I think I'm on the switching algorithm for this. But on this computer, because it has an APU built into or it has an APU which has video built into it, I can remote into this, and the video capabilities are actually being handled by that APU, not one of the other video cards. So it's kind of nice. It's a nice little benefit of being able to kind of like look at your rig, or every time, like if I, this is Chrome Remote Desktop. If I use my phone and I log into my computers and all that good stuff, on this rig, I can look at it 24 hours a day. It doesn't take away from my hashing power. On the other computer, anytime I'm looking at it, I instantly drop a little bit. Not much, but enough. And I've noticed actually with this one, it's pretty responsive. It's a lot more responsive compared to the other one because of the fact that it will, the hashing power on the video cards is not taking away from the display here, which is actually pretty nice. So on the screen right now, I pulled up some information actually on the GTX 1050s that I bought. Currently on Amazon right now, they're on $168. I ended up getting them for about $120 each because they were like 130 something. I bought a bunch of them, and then I signed up for one of these Amazon cards or whatever, and you get like $50 off when you do that. And I figured, what the hell, man, you can't ever have too many credit cards, and it, boom, instantly applied the $50, so that took off the price. That lowered the price on all these individual cards, which was kind of nice. They're not bad cards. Like I said, they're hashing right now around 160, 170. Not the most efficient rating, but right now I don't care about efficiency. I just care about getting as much money as I can. And I'm going to explain to you why. All right, what you've got up on the screen right now is probably something a lot of you have seen before. This is the Nicehash profitability calculator. And basically all you do is you put in what video card you got, your currency, your current electricity costs. Yeah, it's kind of cheap over here on the East Coast. And it tells you, roughly the past earnings for the GTX 1070. In this case, it was about $1.88 a day, $13.17 a week, and $56.46 a month. Now, it's interesting. It doesn't really tell you much information other than, please note, these values are only estimations. The real values can be higher or lower, and of course they can. I've been doing some data collection here, and just to show you, a while ago, I made this list, and this list was pretty much like all the GPUs that were on the Nicehash list, and I should have dated this. Let's assume this was about 3 weeks ago. Approximately their 1 month estimated profit per Nicehash, and then the yearly profit per Nicehash. And then these were some of the estimated costs that I got just based on doing some research on Amazon, eBay, other places. Not some new, some used. And 3 weeks ago the prices were outlandish. I mean, they still are, but it was pretty bad. Then this is like quick little calculations on basically my how much money or the 3 month return on investment I get, and then basically this is the efficiency of the card or how many months I have to mine at that given rate to be able to basically earn the cost back is how that kind of worked out. So take note here because when I originally checked out the GTX 1070 a couple weeks ago, it was telling me in 1 month I'd make $118. Pretty good. That means $1,400 a year. Pretty good. Well, guess where we're at today? Pretty bad. Because in 1 month, we're now at $58. Before we were at $118. Now we're at $50. In 3 weeks, 3 weeks' time, the Nicehash profitability calculator has halved the efficiency of the GTX 1070. And if you recall, it goes by the past earnings, not the current earnings. And if you know anything about crypto and those charts that they throw all over the place, like this chart for stuff, like if I'm mining, I do a lot of Zcash, right? Okay. It's pretty, like if I look at the last 3 months, it's pretty, well, it's all over the place. But in the last month, it's pretty down, and it's well, everything is just kind of going down. I mean, look at, it's amazing. Look at all these charts. I don't even know why we have different charts. I mean, you might as well just make one big chart, right? And just, I mean, if I copied and pasted all these on top of each other, they'd practically be the same dang thing. They're all tied to Bitcoin, unfortunately. But minus Tether. Oh gosh. So, I said to myself, the profitability calculator, all that stuff that I use, it's great and all for that day. But when you're mining, you don't plan on making everything back in a day or making money in a day. You kind of looking at it for the long haul. But the issue is that if the long haul is a trend that goes down for the next 4 months, then, within the next several weeks, we're going to hit a point where, and some people are saying right now, but you're going to hit a point where it's like, you might as well shut the rigs off. There's no point in using the power to generate the money because you're not, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Like my room right now is like 75 or 80 degrees. It's great. I love the heat, but I have like 800-watt heaters like sitting over there. That's just pumping out heat into my room. I had the window. It's like 25 degrees here. I open the window and let the cold air in, and it kind of evens out, and the room gets somewhat decent. But it's a lot of heat in the summertime. I'm gonna have a heck of a time, and I'm gonna have to turn these suckers down a lot because it's a lot. So, where is that chart? Okay, so basically this tells me here that when you're looking at your profitability calculations, you really got to start looking at it in a smaller scale, unless you want to hold, which is fine, just risk it. But if you want to make money back on the stuff that you spent money on, you never really made money unless you sold stuff to make money. So I've been checking out some different pools here. So I do a lot of, because I say like my cards are pretty good at Equihash. Everything tells me Equihash is like the best algorithm to run. So I've been checking out Nanopool. I've been checking out Flypool. This is basically mining pool hub that I've been doing algorithm switching on. And what I do is, and this unfortunately is not the whole picture, but I will record my time or record the starting amount that I have in the wallet on that pool or whatever, and then basically log the date and time, and then basically I'll shut my one rig off at a specific date and time, and I wait a couple hours until all the transactions finalize and take place, and then record the ending balance here. So for instance, on this particular day on 123, on one of my rigs, I don't know which one, and I really should have started noting this too, because these numbers almost don't really tell you much unless you tell you how much hash power you have going into them. So, well, here, let's look at this then, because this is actually has some value to it. On Mining Pool Hub, with both rigs running, and that was about 16 to 1800 hash. It all depends on how many cards I had up, but it was around that figure. I started with a balance of 0 because I had previously emptied my wallet, and I ended with 0.057 Litecoins because Mining Pool Hub does auto conversions for coins for you, so I convert everything to Litecoin. I got an increase of 0.057 because I started at 0. Basically, start end time, and it was a duration of 26.17 hours, which basically meant I got 0.002192 Litecoins per hour, effectively. On that day, 2/5, which was today, basically Litecoin was around 151, which means that I should have got paid out around $7.94. All right, and if we take a look at this, which is my Coinbase account, you can see that I actually did receive 0.056, which was obviously a little bit less because they have a little bit of a fee, the transaction fees that go on. And so I received 0.056, which ended up being $7.28, which was, close to and about matches what my estimation was going to be with $7.94. So I'm doing this, and I'm recording all of this because I want to take a look and find out, Nanopool versus Flypool versus Mining Pool Hub versus Nicehash. Given a certain length of time, how much money can you make on each platform per that day based on the value of the coin that you're cashing out? And that's kind of the issue. If you want to cash out soon, or if you want to cash out and not just hold coins, if you want to actually make US dollars, because having a bazillion Bitcoins isn't going to do you shit if you can't turn them into actual US dollars. And just to quick end things up here, I have a little chart on one of my rigs, just showing you some of the hell I go through sometimes. Because basically, I have the motherboard slots of the cards. I have the number of the card as listed by MSI Afterburner. And then I have the number of the card as listed by the DSTM miner. And none of them coincide. And oh gosh, I don't know why. For the life of me, it doesn't matter how I turn things around or flip things out in the motherboards or change the cards or the chords or the, it's like I'd like everything to be just 1 to 1 to 1. You can't do it. So making charts like this is like, you have to cross-reference everything. It's horrible. But just to give you a rough idea, at an 80% mild overclock here of 100 plus 100 on the core and plus 100 on the memory on all 4 cards. Running at a 70% fan, and then basically all cards are going to be pulling about 60 watts, except for the 1060, because that's a 120 watt TDP card. These guys are pretty efficient. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with this MSI card. MSI, this guy right here, the MSI Gaming X GTX 1050. Dual fans, keep it really cool. There it is. Dual fans keep it really cool. Heat pipes on this thing are like massive. This card's got excellent cooling. It's like one of my it's the coolest of all the cards that I got. And I got EVGA 1050s, the Gigabyte 1050s, this guy, the Gigabyte, or what is this? My gosh, MSI card. This thing it's massive. It actually has 6-pin external power input. You could bring the power on MSI Afterburner all the way up to 125%. 125%. So if I really wanted to overclock the heck out of this thing, I could, because you could pull a lot of power out of that. So if you're going to be making a rig like I got, or if you're going to be setting something up, do it with the thought that, and the knowledge that you need to calculate things based on low income results right now, because it's funny thing about crypto and Bitcoin. If I want to sell my Bitcoin, I really can't sell it unless there's somebody who wants to buy it, because it doesn't just get sold and get traded into midair and magically poof US dollars appear. Those dollars got to come from somewhere. Those dollars got to come from buyers, and if there's no buyers, how are you gonna sell? So this is Fishmonger. I'm going to be logging out right now, and we'll be posting the update to the Fishmonger software, as I stated earlier. My Eagles won the Super Bowl. Go Eagles! And so come tonight, if it doesn't get too late, or tomorrow, I'll be putting that up on the website. So if you play Wrath of the Lich King, you play vanilla Warcraft, you play retail, and you want to get some fishing done, make some extra money, get some achievements rolling. You don't feel like sitting there in front of your computer doing the fishing all day. Let Fishmonger do it for you. Check it out. You get it for you can get it for free to try out. Just send me an email. Be like, dude, I like your stuff. Throw me a code, and no problem. I'll hook you up with what you need. So. Got any questions? Hit me up my email, wildfishmonger@yahoo.com. You can throw some information down below if you got any questions or comments or any of that junk. If you want to buy any of the hats that I have on display today, you can't. They're all mine. They're my hats. You don't get any. So I'm out. Have a good one.